Our second speaker is known as TC or Ameboradiographer. So if you are part of the Ameboradiographer community, you will know him. So his name is Tochukwu, and he's a passionate health care professional with a strong background in medical radiography and radiological science. He's the founder of two impactful communities, Amebo Radiographer Corner, that most of us know him for, and Young Healthcare Professionals Community. Is dedicated to fostering excellence and innovation in healthcare. Driven by a vision of healthcare rooted in excellence, empathy, and innovation, Tochukwu focuses on improving healthcare delivery, leveraging technology to solve modern challenges, and advocating for mental health and financial intelligence. He welcomes opportunities to connect, collaborate, and drive meaningful change in healthcare. So, if there's one thing that our next speaker is particular about, is making sure that is present in different aspects of healthcare to show that there's something that as radiographers we have to offer in different situations. That means whenever we are talking about, if we want to talk about planning, family planning, yes, we want to talk about cervical cancer, whatever area it is always available to show that radiographers have a hand in that particular role. And today he's going to talk to us about clinical goals, what you can do as a student for your clinicals. Because I think one most important thing about radiography is that it's okay to be in class, read, listen to what the lecturer is saying, write your notes, read for the exams. But there's also the clinical part, that there's an exam
Okay. Can anyone hear me? Or because I think my network. Okay. Okay. Can I get more thumbs up if you can hear me, please? Okay. I stopped hearing Janet for a while, and I thought, oh my God, my network is off. Well, yeah. I'm glad it's not. So, good day, everyone. Good day. I'm so excited to be here. I think this morning I woke up and then I remembered that we had this, and somehow I had this burst of excitement because so I am always excited talking to radiography students about how to be the best, basically in anything, not just in academic or clinical goals, whatever it is you would want to achieve. I'm particular about videography students because that's my background, nothing much. But yeah, Seattle has already done a wonderful, tremendous job on this topic already that we have. So yeah, I wouldn't try to take much of my time. Okay, I'm hoping in 30 minutes I'll be done. In 30 minutes I should be done. So Jenny, please time me when it's 25 minutes. Let me know. So I will just round up whatever it is I'm doing. Yeah. All right. So who am I? Right. So I will run to just thank Janet for even inviting me to this program. So first off, most persons here know me as Ameboradiographer, right? And I'm a radiographer, of course, and then the team lead for the radiology team at Lilly Hospitals. Right? And just like Janet already said, I am the humble servant of both Ameboradiographer corner and young healthcare professionals community. And I'm big on advocating for growth, healthcare equity, and community building. And I'm very passionate about empowering young healthcare professionals, which includes radiography students and professionals too. Yeah, of course. So when I was working on my slides for today, my thoughts went in a lot of different directions. Even I already worked on both academic and clinical stuff. When I remembered, Janet said it was basically clinical I was going to be talking about. So I had to start reducing the cutting down on the slides and removing some things. But yeah, I still left a few good things from both ends. So I'll be going academic, clinical, because both of them really, really connect. You can't talk about clinical without talking about academics, because for you to be good in clinical, you have to have good knowledge of the theoretical aspect so that you would know where to ask questions, where to the reason why you are doing what you're doing. Basically, clinicals, you become good with clinicals when you are involved in what is being done. But the problem is you could be good in clinicals and be a technician. So it is the theory that you know that backs you up as a radiographer. Because I could invite you to the radiology unit today and show you how to do an X-ray, maybe do two, three, and then ask you to do it yourself. And before the end of the day, you will be able to know how to do a chest X-ray. But then if I ask you, why are we doing a PA projection instead of AP projection? That is what sets you apart from an X-ray technician and you being a radiographer. That is when you start talking English. You start expounding on, okay, this is why PA is important, because we are trying to protect some organs, and because the heart is closer, is more in front than it's behind, and you are giving me good reasons for that. That is what makes you a radiographer. Aside that, you are a technician if you do not know the reason why you are doing what you are doing. Right. So, but before I go into others, I would just want to take us on a journey to get to that part. Right. So let's get right into it. So I'm just going to breeze through this. I'm hoping that my slides are moving, right? Yes, it is. Okay. So why goals matter? Why do goals matter? So it's because goals give us a purpose. It gives you a sense of direction. One of the things that I heard Cecil talk about was that she said while in school around 2017, before she came to the realization of being not just enough, but more than enough, going the extra mile, putting the extra, is when she realized that a lot of things changed. and it was first in the mind before the results was seen. She had a goal, and then the goal resulted in a journey. So goals give you a sense of direction, and gives you a sense of focus, helps you prioritize on things. Because if you say you want to have a first class while in school, it helps you know that at least you are supposed to be reading at least 3 hours every day on a weekday to be able to get a first class. At least that's one of the steps you should be taking, right? It helps you know that you are supposed to prioritize going to class, attending lectures. It helps you understand that if they put football and they put lectures on the same day, you are not going to go watch football, you are going to go to class. So, and it also opens door for opportunities, right? Because when you have a goal, let's say you want to be you have a goal of becoming a virtual assistant, or you have a goal of entering into tech, right? Because you have that goal, it's easy to identify opportunities and leverage on them. Let's say you are just scrolling to WhatsApp status, and then you bump from someone that posted a scholarship opportunity for people that are interested in tech, or a mentorship opportunity or stuff like that. It's easy for you to know that this is what I want and go for it. And when nothing is on your head, you're just going through life. I will use myself as an example, just like Cecil did, right? In school, I didn't have a goal. Well, I wouldn't say I didn't have a goal. Well, when they say, when most of my friends, all my friends in school, all of them were first class materials. And it's only in my school, it was, I think it was only my state that we had five, five, um, five first class materials in radiography in my set. Right. And all of them were my friends. I was not amongst them. I was very close, but I was not among. And if someone asked me today, I thought they said if you see five wise people, the sixth person, if you are in their midst, the sixth person is, I would say yes. So, and I agree, of course, I agree. But I would tell you that the reason why that did not happen for me was because I didn't have a plan. I didn't have an academic goal while I was in school. My plan for school academically was to pass the courses. And maybe CSO changed while in school. I changed after school. Because in school I was a good student. I was a triangular student. But then I didn't have a goal, something to measure my goals to. Hell, I didn't even care if I what my GP was. What I cared was I did I have A, B, C, and that was not smart. That was not a way of setting smart goals. Because at the end of the day, by the time I was calculating, I found out I had 4.42. That kind of GP, if you would say, if I was quite more intentional about it, should have been in first class. But then because I didn't have a goal and I didn't track it and I didn't do anything, I didn't measure it, I didn't do anything about it. When they are calling other people, at this time, I never really cared about first class. That's also another thing, because every other person, if they say first class, it never really bothered me. It was the day that they were calling my friends out as first class materials. That was when it dawned on me. CC, you could have been among these persons, but then you didn't have you didn't have a smart goal. You didn't measure up. So, well, you are going to live with it. But yes, that day, I decided to do things a little bit differently than I used to do it. I started being smart with my goals and I started setting goals, writing them down. And I will tell you there's a lot more difference from how I lived then compared to how I live now. You become more intentional about these things. So when it comes to clinical goals, why are you setting clinical goals? It's still the same thing with any other goal that you are setting. It gives you focus and direction, helps you to track the progress, makes you more efficient, right? And it helps build foundations for your career success. Of course, when we are talking about academic and clinical, it's not just the only goals that you are supposed to have as a student, right? You have skill development goals, you have networking goals, you have personal goals, you have, as a videographer like me, I have professional development goals, right? So when we are talking about these things, I do not want you to limit your mind to the fact that we're just talking um about clinical and academic. There are other things you're supposed to be doing. CSO talked about getting involved in extracurricular activities. That's the best thing you will do for yourself as a student. If you are only reading book in school, you are I don't want to say that you are a failure, but then that is not the only reason for school. The reason why you are going to college is to be literate. And when we are talking literate, we are not talking book wise, we are talking all round, being literate about life. That is why after you come out of school and you do some kind of things that maybe are absurd, your parents will look at you and like, I thought I paid your school fees. Because everybody expects that by the time you're coming out of school, you are not just coming out book wise, you are coming out wiser in the things of life. So while in school, those school might not give you those formal education of how to build your skills. You are supposed to do it yourself. Put it as a goal. 2025 is coming now, and there are a lot of things that you're supposed to be working towards. I think it's in uni that you have a lot of time to explore a lot of things. Explore your business ideas. Explore um, your tech journey. Do a lot of things. Try visual assisting. It doesn't work. Try coding. It doesn't work. Try, because really that's the time that you have to do all this exploring. Because after now, you on your own, nobody is going to fund your lifestyle, but now you have family, friends funding your lifestyle. This is the time that you have to explore deep and wide. And this is also the time that your network also works for you to build you up to your network, because it is the friends that you have around you now that you probably have, maybe you still have few of them in 2 years, 3 years time. And when you look around you, those those are the persons that maybe when you need like £1 million to invest in something, they are the first persons you go to, and you are looking at these your friends and you are gauging them with the way they are living their life and with the way you are living your life. Do you think that as you are graduating from school in a year, 2 years, 3 years, that these persons are moving in a direction that you want to go to? So why I'm saying this is, while we are talking about academic and clinicals, you're also supposed to be thinking of other goals, right? So CFO talked about setting smart goals, right? So, and I want to be more practical with that part of my slide, because I would want us to do an exercise by the time I'm done with this. So I want to give you instances where your goals are supposed to be smart. So CSO already broke it down, explained what specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound is. But let me give you examples. All right, let's talk about let's say that you want to there is this course that you know in school. Let me use for example radiography physics, that you know that it's hard for you and you really want it's the only course you know that would disturb your GP. So your goal now, let's say your goal is to have an A in physics exam. So how do you make it smart? How do you make that goal smart so that you are sure that you're going to achieve it? Let's say, okay, to make it specific, which is clearly defining what you want, you would say that I want to achieve a minimum of 80% or 70%, because that's what A is, 70% in radiography physics exam. So how do you make it measurable? By tracking your performance, probably in a by weekly quiz or assignments with your friends or with your reading partner or on your own. So that is how you track it. So by the time you've read in 2 weeks, you give yourself, you use your past questions of the same lecture that's teaching you that, to go through and see if this was an exam and this topic I read, I'm seeing the question in the exam hall, am I going to be able to answer it? So by the time you've read and you tried measuring yourself through asking yourself questions and answering it, you're like, okay, I'm making progress. At least I'm reading and I'm understanding, right? That's a way of tracking. It's measurable. So, and sometimes it can also be frustrating because you might read and then they enter. So you are trying to measure. The first time you read, you did the quiz, you could not remember anything. Well, on my own, that's trying to you are trying to measure. So you go back and ask yourself, what are you doing wrong? Maybe your reading pattern is wrong, your study technique is wrong. And I've told a lot of radiography students the way we study is so absurd. Let me not go into that. But then I'm very open to helping you know how to study better. If that is what you want, we can talk about that later. But no, yes, let me just finish with what I have. Then, how do you make it achievable? How do you stay realistic but ambitious? Let's say I say, because I did my first quiz and I'm not doing so well, I would dedicate 2 hours daily to studying physics topic and review the past questions. So like this now, I'm not leaving it to chance. I'm trying to make it achievable. And then that 2 hours there, am I sure I'm going to be able to do 2 hours? Am I sure? Am I sure it's not 1 hour I can do? Can I do 2 hours? It's 2 hours possible. So stay realistic but be ambitious. Then how do you make it relevant? How do you make it relevant? It's already relevant because it aligns with your radiography degree. So there is no need thinking about it twice. So how do you make it time bound? Let's say I need to achieve this goal by the end of the current semester, because that is when you would know whether you've achieved. But then you also have to put a time bound, because you know that exam is coming by end of the semester. So at least by revision week, you should know if you've achieved this goal, because putting a time to it helps you rate yourself too. So, okay, I want to give, when it comes to clinical goals, let me give another instance. Let's say I want to develop X-ray positioning skills. That is my goal. That's the goal I have in mind. So how do I make it specific? Let's say clearly define what you want. If I want to clearly define what I want to perform and assist in at least 20 chest X-rays during clinical posting. How do I make it measurable? I need to log each procedure in my clinical logbook for review. That's how I know this is what I've done. How do I make it achievable? I should be able to shadow senior radiographers to build confidence in positioning techniques. How is it relevant? Chest X-rays, right, are one of the most common radiographic procedures. So knowing how to do it already makes it relevant. The fact that it's the most common radiograph and it aligns with your profession, with your career. You can't say that you want to know how to fix tire. It has nothing to do with you. So how do you make it time bound? Complete these goals. Let's say you have 6 weeks of clinical posting. So you say, I want to complete this goal within 6 weeks of clinical posting. So you see how you've made it specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. And we are going to do an exercise like surrounding this. You can use this to build even your personal goal as a radiographer, as a radiography student, that you want that by year 2023, which okay, but sorry, I'm going backwards. By year 2026, that you want to graduate with a first class, or let's say at least a 4.5 CGPA from your current degree, right? So how you that's a big goal. You have to break it down to make it smart so that you can be able to achieve it. How do you make it specific? Maybe you would say, um all right, so for this kind of goal, for someone that is looking to be an A student, how do you make it smart? I think this man I've asked, I'm going to leave it for our activity. I'm going to leave it for our activity. That's what we're going to use. One of the things we are going to use. So let me move on from here. So practical steps to set goals is to reflect on your current status. What's your strengths? What's your weakness? We all know, I believe we all know what is SWOT analysis is your strength, weakness, opportunity, analysis, right? And threat analysis. Sorry, I didn't say it. So visualize where you want to be by December 2025. CSO talked about 5 years goal, which is very beautiful, and I expect every one of us after now to have something that looks like that, a 5 years plan, because that would help you know what your 2025 should look like. Because if I plan to be in Canada in 5 years plan, there is something I should be doing by the end of 2025 to help me achieve that, which probably would be making sure I come out in flying colors with from my videography studies. So how do I do that in 2025? You see, having a goal makes you start breaking these things down into year by year. Maybe by 2026 you would have graduated. So how do I now work towards getting to Canada? It would probably mean that I will now start reading to write my CAMRAT exams. Start reading this. I should have written my exams by 2027. I should have started applying for jobs in 27, so that by 2028 I'm out of here. So you have to break them down into monthly and quarterly tasks and use tools to track them. You always have to track. If you don't track, just like me that never tracked my GDP one time in school until the time they started calling first class students. I never tracked it one day. The only thing I knew was that I never failed a course. So, and I moved on with life. So it was at the time they were calling first class, I felt like, oh, I would have loved to have this. Bro, it's already late. So how do we measure these goals? For academic goals, I've already said you should track your grades, use your study plan, right? Dedicate weekly hours to your studying, seek feedbacks. Most times we do not understand some things, especially some topics that are hard, and we do not ask questions. We just keep it to ourselves, or we ask and then we stop at one person because the one person we asked was not able to give us feedback. Maybe the person was the best in you thought he was the best A student, and if the person could not explain it to you, there was no need asking any other person, which is wrong. You can even ask your lecturers. You can ask other persons. There are persons that might be not so much in my of an outspoken person, but when they explain things to you, it's better than when the lecturer explains it to you. Then practice self-assessment. Use past questions to test or your understand. Even if you don't have past questions, you should be able, after you've read, this is not something you should do 2 weeks after you've read a course. Immediately after you are done reading a topic, close your book. Before you say you have read, before you beat your chest and say that I've read this topic and I've understood it, close your book. Ask yourself questions from what you've read. Do you think you will be able to answer those questions? Ask yourself questions and see if you can answer them. If you're not able to answer them, you've not done anything. The only thing you did was that you looked at a book for 1 hour and you closed it and you said you did anything. You did not achieve anything. Before you beat your chest and say that you've covered a note or a topic, you should be able to close your book, ask yourself questions from that topic, and be able to answer it without looking inside the book. So when you're not able to answer it, you know, oh, this one did not stick. So to tell your brain that this information is important, you now go back, open the book, check it, find the answer, close the book again, go over it again. What you are doing at that point is that you are cementing that thing to your brain that this is very important information. Your brain processes about 1,000,000 billion informations in a day. When you're walking on the road, it is noticing the flowers, noticing the tree, noticing the road, noticing other students. Those are information that it's processing. At the end of the day, you do not remember all those things because the brain picks the one it thinks it is important and keeps them and discards the rest. So how do you make the brain know that this particular information is important? It's by going over it again and again. How did you learn how to sing the national anthem? Until today, it has not left your mind. It was by repetition. How did you learn ABCD? It was by repetition. How did you learn 1, 2, 3? It was by repetition. Every day in class, after the first time that you read it, your teacher said, oh yeah, close book. Oh yeah, in your head, 1, 2, 3, let's go. That was how you learned 1 times 1. These things are the basics, but then we grow up and we think you can't go back to the basics. You forget them, you throw them into the trash. But this is how you get your A's. There are no miracles anywhere. This is how you get your A's. Proactive repetition. It is not every time you come, okay, because I've read this, let me open it again and go through it and read it. And that is not how you get your A's. Active repetition. You are actively involved in the process, not the one that you read today, then you come back the next day, you open it and you're looking at it again. Why are you looking at it? You've read it before. Obeni, close the book first. Before you open it, ask yourself, can I even remember what I read? Before you read another new thing, close the book and ask yourself, the one I read yesterday, do I even remember it? And if you don't, go back and read it again. It doesn't matter whether you have a lot to cover. What's the need if you cover everything and then you can't remember anything? It makes no sense. So it is better that the ones that you read, you are able to remember them, compared that you read 20 times and then you can't even remember anything at all. So this is just business. If you are going, this is one thing you should go. If you are going away from this meeting after now, this is something you should hold on to. So how do you measure clinical goals, right? It's simple. We already have logbooks. Those logbooks are not for fancy. Most times we, as radiographers, then we really do not take logbooks seriously. We just fill it at the end of the clinical posting. You collect your neighbor's phone and fill anything, fill all of them, put whatever dates, yada yada yada, submit, finish. So that is why when you now go for your Viva exams and you are asked, okay, young man, how do you position for a chest X-ray? PA, you don't know. the tools you use in doing an HSG? You've forgotten it. Oh, I knew it. Oh, I can't really remember. It is because your logbook, you are just passively filling it. You are not asking yourself questions. And how do you can't do that when you have a lot of backlogs trying to fill your logbook? How do you do that? At the end of the day, I know that there's a clinical things. There are no other courses that they maybe even if there are just one. The person that came for chest X-ray today had pulmonary embolism or had pneumonia. Okay, so what are the clinical symptoms that you see and you know that it's not in your scope though as a radiographer, but then that is what sets you apart from every other person because now you are more valuable to the radiologist than to any other than radiographers. You are now playing on the radiologist's field because a doctor that has sent someone for a chest X-ray and you are looking at this person's chest and you're noticing that this person it looks like this person has pleural effusion. You obviously know that at least you have to do a lateral for this person, or you're noticing there's a mass on the chest because of what you've read, because of how you've gone on these things. It makes it simple for you to call the doctor and say, Doc, I'm seeing this thing. I feel we need to do a lateral chest X-ray. I feel we need to do this or that thing to be able to visualize it. And just those small suggestions as a radiographer sets you apart from the rest, because the rest is they say I should do PA, you do PA. They say I should do lateral, you do lateral. Right. So set as a student, you have to set procedure targets. Of course, our luck makes it easier for us and say it's by telling us that you should be able to do 20 chest X-rays by the time you're done, or assist by the time you're done with this thing. Follow it up. If you follow it up like that, you will see that by the time you're done with your X-rays. See, there are different kind of radiographers when you go for your clinical procedure. The ones that don't even talk at all. Whether you keep whether you read or you don't read, they don't it doesn't bother them. So you are responsible for your own experiences. You should want to go and ask questions. That's where getting supervisor that comes into play. You should be the one to open your mouth and say, Chief, this thing that you did, why did you do it? Why did you do the HSG this way? Why did you use this sandbag? Why did you do this one? What's the factor? Why are we using this factor? Why are we having high KV and MAS? To ask. Some people sometimes they don't even know. So you really want to ask. Then the person will say, the person will now read it and give you assignments. Or you're going to read it. Tomorrow we'll discuss it. It is still for your own benefits, actually. So self-reflect after each day, ask what you've learned. Right. So how do you maximize your clinical postings? By being proactive, I've already talked about it. Volunteer for tasks. Right. Wait. Okay. Volunteer for tasks. Is it 30 minutes now from the time I started? Then just send me a DM. Okay. Volunteer for tasks. Ask questions to clarify doubts. Observe and learn. Right? Practice and repeat. So you have to participate. When a radiographer sees that you are interested in learning something, if it's someone that does not hoard information or whatever, the person would easily teach you. If you are disturbing someone about learning something, even if they say clinical students, they are not allowed in CTO, you should not touch anything, but your chief is seeing your interest in this kind of, they might not allow you touch the machine, but they will be willing to teach you when you ask questions. they will be very willing. The universe is on your side, right? So build relationships. These are the times you network with peers and professionals. I believe that all of us here, you should have at least 10, in short, you should have contacts of your senior colleagues more than you even have of your classmates. Well, by not by nature, you already have the contacts of your classmates, but then you have to consciously try to have the contacts of your senior colleagues even while they are in school. That's when you grow rapport, because when they graduate and they are working in different places, they'll still be the ones that you would meet when you are doing your internship, when you are doing your clinical posting, when you are doing even the ones that are a year ahead of you. Those are the ones you'll be still calling chiefs when you go to your when you graduate and you get a job or you start your internship. So build rapport, because they might be the ones to call you and say, Alpha, where I'm working, we are looking for internship. Have you gotten your internship? Those are the ways you open paths for yourself. Yeah, those are the ways that when they say, okay, we're on Cyrus, where do I go? I really want to learn CT and MRI. Oh, I have this senior colleague that works in a place that they do MRI and CT. And you pick up your phone and you call them, and it's easy access compared to someone that they do not have any relationship with, right? So stay curious, take initiatives, leverage resources. There are online resources everywhere, and I'm the chief of that. If you come to my team and say, Chief, I need materials, say no more. Now you go retire. Anything you want, I will just be bombarding you with it. Right. So areas to focus on when it comes to clinicals. We're talking of positioning skills, equipment handling, patient communication, safety protocols. I'll be proud, and I'm proud to say that all the persons that have done clinical postings with me, right, or internship or whatsoever, by the time they are done, these four things are things that they always go home with. Even at the 300 level, as a 200 level, as a 400 level, by the time you are done staying with me in my radiology department, you'll be able to know how to position, you'll be able to handle equipment, you'll be able to communicate with patients. It's not the one that they will say, go and tell the patient how to do that we're about to do an HLG. Explain to the patient what the procedure entails. You say, oh chief, I don't know. You go home that day, you go and read it, then come back the next day. As you come back the next day, the next HLG patient, you are going in to go and tell the person what HLG entails. And as if you can't go home, if you like to be going home, go home. It not be me. It's not me that it's going to affect. You might feel that you're having your free time to go home. It doesn't concern me. You feel that you're assisting me to do without you, I was already doing the radiography work. So you are not that thing to learn. And if you do not want to learn, there's no need you being around, go home. Right? And then that's where you start making corrections of maybe you told a patient something that you're not supposed to communicate. That's where you get corrected. This is not how you respond to these things. This is how you do it. Safety protocols, this is how you do it. When you get involved, it makes things easier, right? So here I'm just telling you, I'm giving you tools that you can use to make these things work, right? You have Notion, you have, oh, okay, I thought CSO talked about this, but no, she did not. But these are apps that you can actually leverage on to help you get the best out of what you're working on, right? There are lots of apps that if you come to me and ask me, which app do you use for this? Which app do you use for active recall? Which app do you use to go through past questions? What do you use? There are lots of them. We are the ones that do not research. We do not do good research because there are things. And a student is not someone that does a lot of manual things. You are supposed to leverage on things around you. That's how it's easier for you. And people are asking, how do you do it? How do you do it? Where is the magic? But then you are just leveraging on the things that are there. Finish. Otito. There is nothing special about these things, though. It's just you being intentional about it. And if you are intentional, somehow, some way, things you start seeing materials, you start seeing things, tools that are going to help you achieve whatever you're going to do. If you say that you want to that you want to have uh, at least take at least 50 online courses related to radiography before you graduate. You start asking questions, how do I get these things online? And people will start giving it to you. There is Radiopedia, there is ASROT, there is a lot of platforms. It is you that is not. So the common challenge is why I round up. Um, Jane says my time is already 30 minutes. So I'm just going to fly now. So common challenges that you would have when it comes to planning your goals is starting big, which understandable. We all want to dream big, but you have to start small, right? You start small and you build up to that. Then you seek help and always revisit your goals. You don't just write a goal, cover it and keep the book. Keep it where you can always go through it, look at it on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, and review it. Last year, I will tell you, just like I told you, I started being intentional when I graduated. I started writing my goals down. One of the problems I had last year was that I didn't review my goals well enough. And then a number of things I planned to do last year, I was not able to achieve them, right? Because I didn't review the goals as often as I could, and I forgot even some of the things I said I wanted to do. It was when I was going through them at the end of the year and trying to set the goal for 2025. That was when I realized, oh, I actually said I wanted to travel to take like 3 vacations this year, and I took one. Oh, I didn't even remember I set that kind of goal. So those are the things. But if you're able to revisit them, it helps to make life easy, right? For clinical goals, right? One of the things that might be a challenge is fear of making mistakes. But my brother, you have to make mistakes to learn. The only thing is always know your boundaries and always ask questions before doing things. If you are always asking questions, the number of mistakes you would make would be small, right? And then listen to your chief. There is a reason they are your chiefs. Right? I had this cyber student one time that was braggadocious, right? Probably he had good theory, but then he did not have holistic ideas about some of the things that he would say. So that sometimes he would be arguing a topic, and I would tell him, bro, calm down. This thing you're saying, it is right, but it is not fully, it is not the whole truth when you bring it to light. And by the time we are done discussing, he finds out that he's wrong. But then before then, he has already bragged about knowing the whole thing. So, anyways, moving on, we have limited opportunities. So when it comes to maybe where you do your clinical processing and stuff, you would leveraging on your network and stuff helps you in this place where it comes to limited opportunities. And then lack of feedback. Sometimes your chief tells you to do something, you don't do it, and you think he forgot. He did not forget. I'm using myself as an example because when I was a student, I would think that my chiefs forgot. But now that I'm a chief, I realize that they actually did not forget. They just they just let it be because, well, you didn't talk about it. I've paid you to read it, and because you didn't read it, well, I'm not going to talk about it until you bring it up. So that's basically that. Then moving on. So this is where I'm going to end my class because I think I've said a lot already. I want you to you can use your phone and write down one smart goal that you want to achieve next year. One smart goal. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to do that. I want you to do that. Write down one smart goal that you want to achieve next year, whether it be clinical or whether it be academic or even personal goal. I'm waiting for you. I'm waiting for you. Okay. You might not be so elaborate, but I would want you to write something down. Just something that you're thinking about. Okay, you can write more than one. as it's coming to you. Let it flow. Then I think you should stop now. Try to make it a smart goal. Make it a smart goal. And if you are done, I want you to share with us. Someone should share with us in the comment section. Be bold enough to share with us. All right. The first person that is going to share with us, I would make sure that that goal is achieved because I'm going to follow up with you, and um we both of us will make sure that that goal is achieved. The first person to post in the message session. At the end of 100 level, you do not want to have a carryover. Okay, second person, let's make it three persons now. Let's make it three persons. Clinton, I'm sure you're not going to have a carryover. You know why I'm sure? Because you've already written it down and it's just going to stick with you whatever you're doing while you're in 100 level. Any other person? Whoa, Joy! You want to? Okay. I thought it was for the whole for the whole section while you're in school. Okay, but you said 5.0 GPA. That's bold, but that's doable. I don't know, but LinkedIn is one of my favorite places because there is this person, okay, not just one person, but there is this particular person that had 4.99 GPA cumulative. I'm like, how do you do that? You mean to tell me you had A's throughout school, maybe and one B? Gen Z's they do like, and I've been on LinkedIn for a long time to see back to back. I've seen lots of first class in the last how many last 1 year that I've seen while I was in school. Like it be like water. Everybody's just drinking it up and down. And I'm wondering, it seems I have to go back and go and get my own first class. So because it looks so easy the way do it these days. Prince Will, you want to learn and understand all the courses. I want to learn React and expand my knowledge on coding. All right, Prince, we are going to do this together. So after this, I want you guys to send me a DM and we'll see how we're going to make this work. All right, so my final words, right, to us is to dream big but act small every day, right? We are going to dream big, but we need to act small on a daily basis. When most of the conversations I've had with senior colleagues and junior colleagues, I've come to realize that it is not the dream that matters, it is the journey that gets you to the dream that is the big deal. So it is not just about talking about the CGPA and all those things. It is what we do on a daily basis. Do you wake up by 3 a.m. CSO 3 a.m. 1 a.m. This lady is awake. Well, I did not tell you guys, but CSO is like we school in the same school. I hope that English is correct. But yes, and I could attest to the fact of whatever that she said. I didn't say her when she was reading by 3 a.m. of course, but then her result obviously would suggest and make it a fact that she did. Right. And so set clear goals, be proactive and embrace your challenges. Remind that consistency and curiosity are your best tools. So the fact that you set that you're going to be reading every day and then you missed 1 day does not mean you should not continue on the goal. It is a journey. You are not a robot, you're a human being. Some days you're going to fall sick, but the fact that you have that goal set in front of you makes a whole lot different compared to when you do not have a goal at all. So thank you for making this very fun. I enjoyed. Okay, we have more people posting stuff. All right. I think it's because The things I'm seeing here is mind blowing. Prince Will. Ah, okay. I have a guy in 411 private university. Clinton is saying us a story. He doesn't go to lectures often, but always have. Is this miracle? It's not a miracle. It's a technique, and I can teach you. It's not a miracle. I bet you, I that guy probably um has the course outline. He has the course outline. It's just like going to just like someone that goes for um online, that takes online, what's it called, that schools online. The guy they read, the that those times that you are in class, that guy is dissecting a lot of things. I i would tell you, if I didn't go to, one of the reasons I passed my anatomy classes was not because of the lectures. I'm telling you, when I go to the lectures, they are causing me headache, because those lecturers are just reading what's in the textbook. And I want to understand anatomy, but then you are reading it, you are not explaining, you are not breaking it down. Some of them try, some of them we are the worst lecturers I've seen. What made me pass anatomy in school was YouTube. Just YouTube, not the lecture notes, nothing, not the lecture. Well, the lecture notes helped guide me how to write the exams, because you have to give the lecturers how the subtopic by subtopic, how they give it to you, right? But then what made me understand the topic was going to YouTube, finding short videos, because if I watch long videos, by 30 minutes, I'm sleeping off. I'm telling you, it's a fact. But then when it's a short videos broken into, I could watch short videos for 1 hour, but make it one long video, I will sleep off in 30 minutes. But make it short videos, I could watch 5 minutes, short videos. By the time I'm looking at my timer, it's 1 hour. By then, I'm done, and I understand whatever topic I'm doing. I'm just telling you facts. It wasn't the lectures. It was YouTube that helped me pass. So that's just it. That person knows what works for him, and he puts his mind to it, and she's doing it. So yeah, I think we've come to the end of this, and I would want to connect with each and every, between, how many are we in this place? We are like 25, and I want to connect with 25 of us. If you send me a DM on WhatsApp, I'm gonna respond. Yeah. And if you're not a WhatsApp person, you're a LinkedIn person, you're an email person, we can be emailing every day. I like it. So yeah, so I want to connect with every one of us, and it's gonna be a pleasure doing that, helping you achieve your dreams. That is all what I'm about. Helping you. I've been through the phase. At least that's an experience I've had. So I'm gonna help you to the best of my knowledge, so that you don't make the mistakes that I made, and so that you be the best of what you get. So so yeah, that's it. So stay inspired and keep pushing forward. Thank you for listening. Your questions can come in. I forgot to ask you to drop your questions, but yeah. So yes. Let my chief see, one of my coaches here. She's in this meeting. Chief Nnemeka Ugu. Wow, he's one of the best radiographers I know anywhere in the world, whether white or black or brown. He's the best at what he does. Man is good. That's what I have to say. And he's in this meeting today. That's Thank you, Chief, for coming around. And CSO, I would just want to say that you just did a very beautiful work with today's meeting. I enjoyed your time. So I'm handing over to Jane now because I feel like I'm now having too much fun. I'm forgetting the time. Thank you guys for being here.